Kylen Schulte and Crystal Turner were newlyweds who were married on April 20th, 2021. 24-year-old Kylen was born in September 1996 in Colorado, and her wife Crystal was born in December 1982 in Arkansas. Both women were described by those close to them as being down to earth, and they were avid campers who spent a majority of their time in the mountains of Utah. On August 13th, 2021, Kylen and Crystal went missing after last being seen at a bar in Moab around 9:30 at night. Witnesses who saw them at the bar said they appeared to be deeply in love and were mainly focused on each other throughout the night. No one saw them being followed or trailed when they left the bar. They weren't reported missing until August 15th, when co-workers noticed both of them failed to show up for their respective shifts. Their co-workers were aware of the fact that they had been living out of their van, moving around between campsites with their pet rabbit. They had recently moved locations for their campsite due to a suspicious man in the area they described to friends as being creepy. Apparently, he made them so uncomfortable that Kylen mentioned to friends that if something happened to them, they were murdered. After they'd been out of contact for 3 days, a friend of Kylen's received a phone call from her father, asking her to check on them. On August 18th, the friend, named Cindy, went looking for their campsite in the La Salle Mountains near Moab. Cindy was on the phone with Kylen's dad when, unfortunately, she actually discovered his daughter's remains. Just imagine trying to help a father desperate to find his child, only to have to break the news to him that you found his child deceased. Then for him, not knowing where your child is or if she's okay, just to find out over the phone that she's been killed. The friend did an interview in which she said, "I saw Kylen's body in the water and I immediately turned away. I just kind of shut down inside, and I started rambling apparently, talking about the water, how pretty it was, what a beautiful location it was. I finally convinced myself that I had to look and confirm there was a body there because I wanted it to be logs or tree limbs, anything but what I was seeing." Once she told him she'd found remains, he asked who it was, but she told him she couldn't tell. She said, "I knew it was Kylen, I just didn't want to admit it was Kylen yet." When Cindy found her friend, naturally, she became scared and worried for her own safety. She thought the person or people responsible might be nearby. They could even be watching her, and she had no way of knowing if she was in danger at this point, so she stopped searching without looking for Crystal. Instead, she called police. Not only is it traumatizing to find one friend, but you're so fearful for your own life, you can't even function enough to find her spouse who wasn't that far away. Once they were both discovered, police realized both women had been undressed from the waist down, and both succumbed to multiple gunshot wounds to the chest, back, and side. At the scene, police found a Kia Sorento, camping equipment, and a shelter they'd made themselves for their rabbit. The area where Kylen and Crystal lived and worked received international attention, coinciding with the disappearance of Gabby Petito in the fall of 2021. On August 12th, 2 days before they were reported missing, and the day before Schulte and Turner were last seen alive, Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito were stopped by officers at the Moab City Police Department. Laundrie was confronted by police in front of the Moonflower Community Cooperative in Moab, where Kylen Schulte worked as a cashier. Some people have brought up startling similarities between both cases. They were in the same area at the same time, both couples went camping before going missing, and both cases involved couples that met violent ends. And some later wondered if Brian Laundrie, who at the time was suspected in Gabby's disappearance, might be linked to their murders as well. Gabby Petito was found a month after Kylen and Crystal. Despite what investigators say, some people still believe the deaths of the 3 women may be connected. On August 12th, Moab police were called to the incident involving Petito and Laundrie outside the Moonflower Co-op. The next day, Schulte and Turner were seen for the last time at the bar in Moab. Because of the timing and location, speculation remains about a possible relationship. While searching for Petito in early 2021, Northport police confirmed they'd shared information with the Grand County Sheriff's Office, which is investigating the homicides of Kylen and Crystal. The Sheriff's Office subsequently released a new statement saying they found no connection between the two cases. A private investigator working the case says he also has a list of possible persons of interest. Among that list is Brian Laundrie. He says until it can be proven otherwise, he can't be ruled out. In January 2022, local police announced they had a person of interest in the case. Just hours before the women were found, a sheriff's deputy made a traffic stop of a car displaying an Ohio license plate. The 27-year-old driver had a Utah license and lived in the Moab area. The deputy reported the man was so unnerving that despite being a veteran officer, he decided not to write a speeding ticket solely because he didn't want to take his eyes off of him. The deputy said the man acted oddly and displayed a combination of what he described as euphoria and being caught doing something wrong. Locals informed law enforcement this man routinely slept in his car, and one person had asked him to leave her place of business because he made unwanted advances toward women and made them feel uneasy. When questioned on August 18th, the man reportedly gave vague answers and stared vacantly at the person talking to him. The man admitted he'd seen Kylen at the Moonflower, where he actually had been hired just days earlier, and he rambled when asked questions about any interactions with her. He also admitted he had seen Schulte and Turner together in McDonald's where Crystal worked. When asked if the interactions with Kylen were good, the man stated that depending on the day, the interactions he had with other people could be good or bad, depending on people's feelings. When asked how he would react to being rejected, he said he would just accept it. Investigators found his demeanor, quote, similar to people who have untreated mental health issues, and one of the man's co-workers claimed he reported to be able to hear other people's voices. The man wasn't able to give details on his exact whereabouts the night of the murders, and he also declined a request to search his car. Due to his behavior and inability to account for all events, the police reports note they should explore this avenue of inquiry. During questioning, he said he'd been camping out in the mountains and provided officers with the location where he last slept and where cops found 2 blankets and a bloody jacket. A forensic analysis determined that the items found were unrelated to Crystal and Kylen. Despite all the suspicions and coincidences, police cleared him a month after announcing him as a person of interest. In March 2022, a private investigator who volunteered to help Kylen's father claimed that law enforcement had obtained an audio recording from near the crime scene. He revealed that on this recording, gunshots and screams can be heard in the background. Police admitted that apparently this recording does exist. They would not confirm that screams can be heard, but they did confirm that shots can be heard on it. The private investigator says the audio was recorded at 11:35 a.m. on August 14th, or the morning after they were last seen alive at the bar. Police confirmed the date, but wouldn't reveal the time of day. As this case is still unsolved, several questions remain. Was the driver really harmless, or is there more to his story? Could there have been some connection to Brian, considering the timing and proximity? Who was the man that made them move campsites? Was this act random or planned? Why would someone target them out of everyone? And perhaps the biggest question, why didn't their case get anything close to the same attention and coverage as the other case? Even if only for the fact that their stories share so many similarities to Gabby and Brian.